There's really 3 steps when you're contemplating doing a real estate transaction and for investment purposes, and you're looking for equity. So, step 1 is you need to understand what is your exit strategy before you buy the property. How are you going to exit and get out of the property? You make your money in real estate when you buy the property. You can't buy a property and then like la di da di da. What I'm going to do with this? You need a clear game plan from the start. So when you look at a property, what are you going to do? What is your path in real estate? There's so many options. There's so many different ways. There's so many techniques. There's Swiss nice army techniques. You can do this. You could do that. Pick what you're going to do. Are you going to buy the property and rehab it and flip it? Or are you going to buy the property, wholesale it and assign it? Or are you going to buy the property and do it as a rental? Or are you going to buy the property, do an owner finance? How are you getting out of this property in the end? Or do you plan to keep it? And if you do plan to keep it, is there a set time frame that you're going to keep it? What is your plan? Know what you're doing before you enter into any sort of contract or before you enter into any kind of deal. Step 2, determine the after repair value. You need, and this is very, very critical. This is very, very critical. If you're buying a property, you need to know exactly what it's worth after repairs. After you've done all the repairs to the property, knowing the value and getting that value right is the most important thing you can do. If you overestimate that value, you're in trouble. If you underestimate it, you're okay. So I really recommend that you just be very conservative with your after repair values. So following up, ARV, got to know it. Got to know it. So know what you're doing with the property before you get into the contract. Know what the ARV value is. After repair value, that is the value after all the repairs on the property have been made. Next step is to construct your offer. And this is a very, very important step. When you construct your offer, you have to know, you have to understand all of the expenses. All of the expenses. Not some of them, not a few of them. All of the expenses. You need to know them. So let's start and let's just go through line by line. What would the expenses be when it comes to a transaction? When you're constructing your offer, you start at the top. ARV. What is the ARV value? Once you know that, you start rolling on down. So the next one would be commission on resale. So what's the commission going to be on resale? What's the commission you have with your agent? And then closing cost. What's the average closing cost going to be on resale? Put that in there as well. Then you got to take out your profits. What's your profit? And this can vary. This is your decision. But I recommend, generally speaking, 20% is a really good place to be, 15, 20%. It depends on the value of the property and where you're at. But if you can swing that, that's a good place to be. Holding cost. This is one people tend to underestimate. If you're getting a loan for the property, what's your monthly payments going to be? Utilities on the property, insurance on the property, prorated taxes on the property, landscaping on the property, utilities, all that stuff. Calculate it out, figure up at least 6 months if you're flipping, 1 year if you want to be really, really conservative and cautious, which in this market, I probably would be. Repairs. You got to know your repairs. If you're inexperienced, get a contractor who knows what they're doing to give you an estimate, and then add 10% to that estimate because it never comes out right. It's always over budget. Not always, but a lot of times. So get an estimate from a contractor that you know is good, and then plan for about 10% over that. That would be the repairs. So you got to deduct that out. And then any cost to actually purchase the property. You know, how much is it going to cost you, closing cost of purchase? Are you having to give the seller any extra money? Or is there any other concessions? Is there anything going on that's going to deduct from your profits? And then if you're wholesaling or selling the property, then you got to deduct your fee out of that as well. So you've got to deduct all that out. And this is going to give you the maximum allowable offer, the MAO. That is the highest that you could offer on the property that you're looking at. You never want to start there when you're talking to the seller, but that is your ceiling. That is your limit. Do not go over. Line in the sand. Do not go over. That is your limit. And that will protect you. That will make sure that you don't fail in this business. Know how to get out of the property before you enter it. Know the ARV. Calculate every expense that you can and throw in, I forgot, a buffer cost. So even throw in like $5,000 as a buffer cost, just a cost that if anything else happens, goes wrong, or comes up unexpected, you've got it covered. That gives you the MAO. And from there, you know where you can go on your equity offer. Now, we're not getting into any creative deal structure techniques or anything like that. This is really just basic fundamentals. You're making lowball offers. This is how you construct a lowball offer because you're looking for equity. You're looking to purchase equity in your deals.